Hello everyone, welcome. So today we are on a mission because if you watched my last video, you know that this has been kind of a tough reading year for me. I, one, have been in a reading slump, and two, I just cannot seem to find that many books I utterly love. I have rated only 2 books 5 stars this year, not counting rereads, and one of those books honestly doesn't even fully feel like 5 stars. It could be 4.5 stars in retrospect. So yeah, I have basically only read 1 book this year that I would consider like a new all-time favorite book, and I need to find at least another one because we're halfway through the year and I can't have only read 1 truly exceptional book. So today I'm filming a reading vlog, but it's a little bit of a different style of reading vlog. This is a video I've seen going around for several years now, and people have asked me to do some version of this, and that is that we are going to continue on this vlog, continuously read until I read a 5-star book. So the vlog will not end until I read a 5-star book. It could be the first book that I finish reading in this video ends up being 5 stars and the video ends up being super short, but depending on the length of this video, which I have no idea how long it's gonna be as of right now, you'll probably be able to tell how long it took me to finally find a 5-star book. So we could be here for like 5 minutes if the first book I read ends up being 5 stars, or we might be here for like 2 hours, which I'm really hoping that's not the case because I really just need to read a good book. Desperately. So I have a bit of a TBR, but I am a mood reader, so I might pick up an entirely different book that is not on this list or switch around the order in which I read things. We'll see, but we do have a few books that I have on the list for now. Some I've already started that I would like to finish as well. So hopefully somewhere among this list, somewhere amongst my bookshelves, there is a 5-star read waiting to be discovered. So let's get into the TBR. We have 5 books here, and perhaps we will read all of these, perhaps we won't read some of them, perhaps we'll read something else. But starting off, we're gonna start with 2 of the books that I'm already in the middle of, and I think this will be the first one that I continue with. It's summer. I always like to read romance books during the summertime. It just feels fitting and fun, and they're perfect beach reads. So one I picked up recently is You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogel. This is one that was recommended to me by a couple of people online, some of you, and then also one of my friends who really likes this book and she's told me to read it. So I decided to pick it up when I went to the Ripped Bodice, the romance bookstore recently, and I have started it. I am about, how many pages? About 106 pages into the book right now. I do want to finish this next because it's the one I've made the most progress in of everything I'm currently reading right now, but I will say I have a feeling it might not be 5 stars because 100 pages in, I'm already kind of skeptical and not exactly feeling it, but it could surprise me. I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll see, but we're giving it a chance. So this is book number 1 on the list. Next, we have another book that I'm also in the middle of. This one, I think I'm also about like 100 pages into it, maybe a little bit less than that. Yeah, 97 pages, and that is One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This. In an entirely different vein from the romance novel, this is a nonfiction book written by novelist and journalist Omar El-Akkad, who is basically just kind of describing the events that took place between October 7th, 2023 and present day. And it is about Palestine and the Palestinian struggle and the West and the US involvement and all of that. It's a nonfiction book I was really excited to read, and so I picked up a copy at a bookstore recently. Like I said, have made some progress in it and I'm really liking it so far. I don't know if you can see my tabs in there, but I've like highlighted and marked up a lot in here already. So I am really enjoying this. This has potential to be a 5-star read. It's great so far. I just don't know that it's gonna be like a new all-time favorite or anything like that. So again, there's potential here. I am trying to pick out things that I think I will really, really love because I'm desperate. But yeah, excited to continue with this. So this might be the second book I pick up. Then we have my book club book for the Clockwork Reader Book Club, which is our June pick, and that is The River Has Roots by Amal El Motar. This is the same author who wrote This Is How You Lose the Time More, one of the co-authors of that book, which I also really loved. This is a recommendation from a friend, and it also reads like a fairy tale, and it has like illustrations in it and everything. It's so beautiful. I am so excited to read this. I feel like I'm really going to love this. High potential for 5-star read, but who knows? You never know. This one's also pretty short, so I'll get through it fairly quickly, and I am excited about it. So hopefully it lives up to the expectations I have placed on it in my head. If not, again, I will be sad. Next, we have another romance novel. This is another recommendation from a friend. I'm actually borrowing her copy of the book, and that is The Secret Lives of Country Gentlemen. This is one of her favorite, if not her favorite, romance novel, historical romance novel, and she's been asking me to read it for a while, and I was like, why not pick up a gay romance novel during Pride Month? And hopefully I end up really liking it. Again, I think it'll be another fun read since it's not too long and I get through romance books pretty quickly, so I am excited to try this out. And then lastly, the final thing I have on my list for now is Hour of the Star by Clarice Lispector. This is a very, very short novel. I have also started reading this, but I'm only like 15-20 pages in. Clarice Lispector has been recommended to me countless times by a lot of my followers on Tumblr. That's where I like to engage with people. It's just so much more fun, so much more casual, so much more me. And a lot of people have been recommending Clarice Lispector to me and telling me that I will really like her books. So I picked up this one and a different one as well, but I think that this is the one that I want to start with. I've been reading a lot of classics this year and I feel like I'm just kind of in that mood and I'm waiting for one to fully hit, and hopefully this is one that does. So yeah, this is the current TBR. We'll see. It's accidentally kind of a rainbow. That was unintentional, but it's kind of fitting. But yeah, I am hopefully going to find a 5-star read somewhere in here. I'm so desperate, y'all. You don't even understand. I just feel like I can't find anything that will hit as hard as Martyr did at the beginning of this year. I read that in like January and nothing has been as good. So I don't really know what to do with myself. Anyway, like I said, might switch things up, but this is what we're sticking with for now. So let's get started on continuing on with You Deserve Each Other and hoping, having our fingers crossed, that this ends up being a 5-star read. Again, I have doubts, but that's why we're starting with this one. All right, curling up on my bed to start or continue with my first book for the video. I need to get through this, so I want to be super comfy, and my bed is the ultimate comfort place in my house, especially ever since I got a new mattress from Brooklyn Bedding, who is also kindly sponsoring today's video. Brooklyn Bedding is a mattress company that has been making mattresses for the past 30 years. They're high quality and designed to help you get the best sleep you can, and everything is made in their Arizona factory, so you can get good quality without a markup. I've been searching for a new mattress for quite a while. I prefer a more firm mattress, but also something that has a little bit of a cushion to it because I'm a side sleeper. And so I took Brooklyn Bedding's sleep quiz and answered all their questions about my sleep preferences. And so based on that, I got the Copper Flex Pro, which is 7 in firmness in a queen size mattress because that's the size of my bed. I had a super easy time setting it up, unboxing it, and putting it in my space. I have a pretty small room, so sometimes it can be difficult to maneuver things in here, but it was actually super easy to just do on my own. I have had this for about 2 weeks now, and honestly, it has helped so much. It's so much more comfortable than my old mattress. I get a lot of stiffness when I sleep, and having a mattress that's just firm enough for me but not too firm is extremely helpful. And my other favorite thing about it is how much it has helped with keeping me cool while I sleep. I don't live in a particularly hot area, but nothing bothers me more than getting really overheated while I sleep, and this mattress has definitely helped keep me cool. I have not been overheating at all, and I'm so happy about that. I already love spending time in my bed, and now I actually sleep well in my bed, which is so nice, and getting more sleep has been so much more helpful for my productivity throughout the rest of the day and the rest of the week. And yeah, I never want to leave this place now. Since everything is made in their Arizona factory, they get to cut out the middleman and you get to save on price without sacrificing quality. Plus, your Brooklyn Bedding mattress comes with a 120-night sleep trial and a limited lifetime warranty and free shipping in the US. I love my new mattress, and I'm sure plenty of you would too, so if you are interested in trying out Brooklyn Bedding mattresses for yourself, check out brooklynbedding.com. You can click the link in the description box to get 30% off your mattress with my code ClockworkReader. So again, thank you so much to Brooklyn Bedding for sponsoring today's video and providing me with a very good night's sleep. And now let's get back into finishing this book up. Will it be 5 stars? I don't know. I'm not too convinced. Okay, so I've made some progress in You Deserve Each Other. I've read about 50 pages. I'm so close to DNFing this. Not the best way to start the video. My biggest problem with this book so far is that the main characters don't like each other. And that is like kind of the point. It's like a second chance romance. These two characters are engaged and they're supposed to get married soon, but the main character kind of like wants her fiance to break off the engagement. She doesn't want to be the one to break off the engagement. She wants him to break off the engagement because there's like money involved and she doesn't want to have to pay it back. She even starts off the book by saying that she's only 40% in love with him, which is, you know, something. That I get that that's the point of the book, right? Like, she's kind of fallen out of love with him, or she doesn't really know if this is the right decision she should be making, and she probably falls back in love with him. Like, that's kind of what the plot's gonna be. But they just don't like each other, and low-key, he's kind of a misogynist. Maybe he'll change, but so far they're just kind of doing whatever it takes, like playing pranks on each other, doing whatever it takes to like annoy each other as much as possible. And like, let me be so real. If I wanted to watch two straight people in a relationship who kind of hate each other, I wouldn't need to turn to books for that. Yeah, so I don't know, I'm just like a little disappointed. I just got to a part in the book where it's like still early on. I don't know if this is a spoiler, but you can just mute me if you don't want any spoilers for this book. But he just like bought her a house without consulting her, and she's like upset because she's like, you don't do that if you're in a relationship. I'm not saying that the book's not like refuting that idea or something, but I don't see how this is gonna get resolved. Like, they're definitely gonna still be engaged and get married by the end or something. And I don't know, I just like don't like either of the two main characters. Again, he's a little bit like elitist and a little bit misogynistic, and she's a little bit spineless. Sorry, just leave him. I don't really care. Don't pay the deposit back. He probably wouldn't make you pay the deposit back anyway. His mother is horrible. Like, never marry a mama's boy. Rule number one. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. I am gonna finish it just because I'm like kind of determined now, and I want to know how it ends out of a morbid curiosity. This really, unless like something miraculous happens in the second half of this book, I don't think this is gonna be our 5-star. I'm really sad. I really wanted to like this. I've been putting it off for so long because I thought I would like it so much, but unfortunately, it's not looking that way. The main character just confessed to reading Riverdale fanfiction on Tumblr, and I have to DNF. This book is literally killing me. You all know me. You know that it takes a lot for me to DNF a book. I usually will commit no matter how miserable I am. I read the entirety of From Blood and Ash, even though I wanted to stop on like page 2, okay? I have 60 pages left of this book. I can't do it. I literally cannot do it. I don't want to suffer anymore. Reading this feels like pulling teeth. And yes, that actually is a pun because the main love interest is a dentist. But it seriously does feel like pulling teeth. Every single page makes me cringe more than the last. Every joke doesn't land. It's just horribly millennial cringe. I say this as a millennial cusp. I get it. Sometimes we make fun of millennials a little bit too much. However, sometimes it's deserved. This is bad. I can't deal. Not one joke in this book has actually made me laugh. Every single one has either made me roll my eyes or truly like physically cringe or want to throw the book across the room because I just can't take it. Like, you know when something is so secondhand embarrassing that you have to like pause and like pace around your room? That's what this is doing to me, and not in a fun way. The book is aptly named. They do deserve each other. They both suck. I hate the main female character. I hate the main male character. They kind of have no redeeming qualities. They're bad to everybody around them. They literally do not like each other, and not in the fun like enemies to lovers way or the rivals to lovers way. No, they don't like each other as people. And at the point I'm currently at, they like are kind of becoming friends again. But like, why were you engaged in the first place? Explain that to me. Why were you engaged to somebody that you don't like? To somebody who has a mother of a family who just degrades you, looks down on you. And I know that's why she wants to like break off their engagement, and that's the whole plot. But she doesn't love him. She hates the way he makes her feel and the way that her family makes her feel, doesn't communicate that to him, and then they play a series of pranks on each other so that she can try and get him to break up with her so she doesn't have to pay back her down payment for something for their wedding because she can't afford it, instead of just being an adult. These characters are like 20 something years old. The main character is 28, and I think the main male character is older than her too. Can we please be grown up for a second? And listen, I love acting a little immature. I love whimsy. I don't think that we need to stop being kids just because we get older or acting childish. That's fine. But this is so unserious. This is so ridiculous. And again, not in the fun way. It's been a while since I've disliked a book this much. And I'm so sad because this was recommended to me by a friend and by multiple people. I'm really sorry if you like it. It's just not for me. This style, this type of humor, this type of rom-com isn't my thing. And that's fine. I really, like, I'm very tempted to just like skim to the end and figure out how they even manage to actually get married or get back together, even though they're technically not broken up or whatever. But at this point in my life, I respect myself too much to make myself suffer through the remainder of the book. I just can't do it. So yeah, great start to this video. First book of the challenge, and it's a DNF. I would rate this, I want to say 1 star, but that feels harsh because I've read much worse books. Probably like 2 stars, 1.5. I'm gonna say 1.5. I really don't like it. And yes, I technically didn't finish it, so I might not actually give it a star rating, but I have so little left of it that it feels fair. I read like nearly 300 pages of this, okay? I feel like I'm allowed to give it a star rating. But yeah, first book is a DNF, so that's about as far as we can get away from a 5-star book. Promising start. Okay, so next book, do I continue reading a book I've already started or do I start something new? That's the question. Kind of leaning towards either finishing One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This. Maybe I won't read it next, only because I don't want to only read 2 books in this video. I would like to read more than that, although the main priority is to read a 5-star book. So yeah, this is an option. And then my other option is The River Has Roots. This is my A Clockwork Reader book club pick for the month of June. So this is what we're reading for my book club. It's very short and I have a feeling I'll really like it. I just don't know if it'll end up being 5 stars. Maybe we will go with this next, just to have like something a little different than this, but not so different that it's nonfiction. Something a little in between, some short fantasy novella. So we'll start River Has Roots and then probably move on to One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This if this doesn't end up being 5 stars. Hopefully it does. I would really like that, but I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I'm just gonna try and remain as neutral as I possibly can and let this surprise me. All right, good morning everybody. Time for another update. So last night I finished reading The River Has Roots and I really liked it. This is a short story novella about these 2 sisters who live in a small town called Thistlefold, and Thistlefold is like right on the edge of fairy, and it reads fully like a fairy tale or a folk tale, and most of it is about the relationship between these 2 sisters, but there's also a romance in it as well. It is also a queer romance, which is why I chose this for my June book of the month for my book club, because I wanted to read something that had queer romance in it for Pride. But really at its core, it's more a story about these 2 sisters, and I love any story about sisters. It always gets me. It did make me tear up like a little bit. It was just, for me, not really long enough necessarily, even though I've read things that are really short that I would give 5 stars. I guess it's not the length of it. I think I just wanted a little bit more, but it was very sweet. It was really enjoyable. It was heartwarming, and the writing is beautiful. That's the best part of this, in my opinion. Her writing is real good. I should know from This Is How You Lose the Time War, which she's one of the co-authors of, but this is on par with that, and the writing is just incredible. There's so many lines in this. I was borrowing this copy from a friend actually, so I wasn't able to mark it up, but I do want to get my own copy so that I can mark it up a little bit as well. But yes, very much enjoyed this. I gave this like 3.75, almost 4 stars. So we still haven't found a 5-star book. This is only the 2nd book, and this is the first one I have finished, so there's that. This is definitely a good like palate cleanser if you're looking for something short after reading something that you didn't like all that much. I'm pointing at You Deserve Each Other sitting right there. Anyway, I'm glad something was semi-successful, but we still have to find our 5-star book. I went through my TBR with you all like earlier, but I feel like I'm probably gonna deviate from that. I'm still going to pick up some of the books. I think I really want to read Giovanni's Room. I think this is going to be my last resort book because I have a feeling if there's any author, any book that has the highest possibility of being 5 stars, it's gotta be James Baldwin, because every quote I have ever seen from James Baldwin, it deeply moves me. It's just some of the best writing I've ever seen. It's so poetic, it's so beautiful, and so I just need to read some of his actual work. So after the next book, I think this is going to be our last resort. So I'm saving this until the end, I think. And if this doesn't end up being 5 stars, I don't know what we're doing. I really don't know what I'm gonna do. But for now, we're putting this aside, and I think I'm either going to finish One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This, because again, I have like 90 pages, 70 pages, something like that left of this one, so not much left. And then if I don't feel like doing this, because I do have things to do, so I kind of want to listen to an audiobook. That might be helpful. The audiobook that I am currently listening to, and by currently I mean I only listened to one chapter, so I've barely started it, and that was like a month ago. It's The Lamb by Lucy Rose. This is a horror novel about this girl and her mother. From what I know about it, there's cannibalism involved. All the good horror stuff that I really love. I love horror. I love horror books. There's great potential here for this to also be 5 stars for me. I don't know, hopefully. So I might listen to that next. I think that might be what I do while I just do some chores and like other things I need to get done. And then if that's not 5 stars, we're moving on to this. And then if this isn't 5 stars, we're moving on to James Baldwin. Might change that up a little bit, but I think that's what we're gonna stick to for now. So for now, let's move on to The Lamb, and then I will update once I finish that, or if I decide to DNF it, though I doubt that I will, because I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna jinx it. I'm not gonna jinx it, because apparently things are too rough right now. We need all the good luck we can get. Okay, I just got to the plot twist in The Lamb, this book. Maybe I wasn't paying enough attention to certain details, and maybe it's just the audiobook. I'm not the biggest fan of the narrator, so maybe it just kind of slipped my mind. The plot twist, I literally got chills the second that they said what was said. Yeah, I should have known. I should have guessed it. I should have predicted it, but oh my god. Okay, I am invested. I'm invested. I probably have like a third of the book left or something, but it's been a while since something has shocked me like that in a book, but I'm pleasantly surprised. All right, so I just finished The Lamb. It was good. It was good. It was not 5 stars though. It was disturbing, disgusting, stomach turning, exactly what I want from a horror novel about cannibalism. It reminds me in a lot of ways of one of my favorite books, which is Woman Eating. This is like mommy issues cannibalism lit fic. This is mommy issues vampire lit fic. They're really similar in a lot of ways thematically. Maybe if I had never read this before, The Lamb would really stand out to me. It's still a great book. I'd still recommend it if you're into this type of horror. I think I'm giving this like 3.5 out of 5 stars. Again, not my favorite, but still a good read. I don't want to say enjoyable, because it's not really enjoyable to read about people eating other people, but it was still a well done novel. Sorry, my hair is just not working today. Anyway, I liked the themes that it explored about motherhood and that mother-daughter relationship and how that can turn extremely toxic, and obviously this is taking it to another degree, but using cannibalism as metaphor to kind of enhance and represent that type of a dynamic. It was really interesting. It was well done. Again, just not 5-star worthy for me, but if you like horror, if you're into this type of thing, I still think it's worth checking out. Although personally, this is the one that I would recommend if that's kind of the genre you're looking for, the themes you're looking to explore. Although this one doesn't have cannibalism. But you know, vampirism falls in a similar category, similar vein. So yeah, this would be my recommendation if you're looking for something similar to that. Or if you've read that and you want something else, definitely check out Woman Eating. But anyway, now we're 0 for 3. We have not found a 5-star book yet. I think, like I said earlier, the next one I'm gonna move on to is One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This. I have really enjoyed everything that I've read in it so far, so there's potential for this to be 5 stars. Although sometimes I have a harder time rating nonfiction books because they just operate differently in my brain. I've given a few 5 stars because they really stood out to me. So that could be this, but it might also not be. I feel like at the least this is going to be 4 stars or 4.5 stars, which is still a higher rating than everything else I read in this video so far. Hopefully that happens. Yeah, let's move on to this. I'll come back when I'm done and I'll let you know how I rated it. And we'll see if the video ends there or if we have another book to read. We did it. We finally did it. I finally read a 5-star book. I was really on the fence about this for a while. I was like, it won't be 5 stars, it'll be 4, it'll be 4.5 stars. No, it was exceptional. This was so poignant, deeply moving. Every single line was so cutting, like it hurt to read a lot of moments, but it was also so unbelievably real. As you can clearly see, I kind of like skimmed through earlier. I have marked up and highlighted like a good bit of this book. Almost every page has some kind of highlight or some kind of annotation just because I loved every line. I know people throw this word around a lot and it kind of starts to lose meaning at a certain point, but this truly is an incredibly important book. I think it's something everybody should read. Even if the politics in it aren't new to you, I still think it's worthwhile. This is like a piece of history, a moment in time that I think everybody should remember, and a reminder that I think everyone needs in the face of the genocide in Palestine that we've been witnessing for the past several years. There are a few chapters that really stood out to me. In particular, I think it's chapter 7, titled Lesser Evils. This was a great chapter on liberalism and the way that that ideology functions. There are just so many great quotes. Honestly, I wish I could go through this and read every single passage that I just really loved out loud to you, but you should just read the book. But I'll read a couple of them that deeply stood out to me. One of them from this chapter. One day the killing will be over, either because the oppressed will have their liberation or because there will be so few left to kill. We will be expected to forget any of it ever happened, to acknowledge it if need be, but only in harmless, perfunctory ways. Many of us will, if only as a kind of psychological self-defense. So much lives and dies by the grace of endless forgetting. But so many will remember. We say that sometimes when it's our children killed. Remember. And it may seem now like it's someone else's children, but there's no such thing as someone else's children. The problem with fixating on the abyss into which one's opponent has descended while simultaneously digging one's own is that eventually it gets too dark to tell the difference. And like, I get chills. Oh my God, I literally have chills again. That's what every line in this book sounds like. Beautifully written. It's just unbelievably good. And the other chapter I really liked as well is actually the next chapter on fear. Every single chapter is great. Truly, every single one is great. But those two just really stood out to me. And another quote I just really liked that stood out to me. Whatever the empire is, it has no idea what to do with this kind of love, which adheres neither to the empire's own central principle of self-interest, nor to the adjoining principle that solidarity is only with one's own, that love for one's people may never become love for another. It's so incredibly hopeful while obviously talking about some of the most horrific atrocities we have all been witnessing. I can't explain how much I feel like I just needed to read these words in print, how much the reminder that other people care this much can be necessary at times. I cannot recommend this book enough. I'm so glad that I finally finished it. I'm glad I read it in this video. I'm glad I can recommend it. And I do recommend it. I think everybody should read this. This is one of the best pieces of nonfiction I think I've ever read. It's both very personal to the author, and he weaves in his own personal experiences working as a journalist with everything that has been happening in the world over the past few years. But I mean, he even goes back and gives you historical context for a lot of what we are seeing today. So yeah, it's just fantastic. A wonderful, wonderful book. If you read one piece of nonfiction this year, this would be my recommendation. And I'm just so happy to have read another book I absolutely loved, that deeply moved me, that was affecting. I'm so glad that this was published and grateful that it exists. Please, please, please read this book. But that kind of concludes this video. Let me gather all the books I read. So we read 4 books, 3 physical books, including The Lamb, the audiobook that I listened to. Yeah, it took 4 books. I thought it would take more, honestly, to finally find our 5-star read, but I am glad that we finally did. I didn't need to turn to James Baldwin, although I think I will be reading Giovanni's Room next, because I did start like the first chapter and I was immediately hooked. So I definitely want to keep going with that. But if desperate times come back again and I am in need of another 5-star read, I'll definitely be doing another video like this. As difficult as it was also a lot of fun. But yeah, we had like a whole range. We had a DNF, like a 1.5-star read, and then 2 kind of middle of the road, 3.5, 3.75 star reads, and then finally our 5-star. But all around, successful reading vlog. But let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of the books that I read in this video and what any of your thoughts are on them. And also give me some recommendations for some more nonfiction books, because I've been in both a classics and a nonfiction mood lately, and I'm definitely looking for some more nonfiction to read. If you'd like to follow me on any of my social media, all of my links are in the description box as always, but that's about it for this video. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!